Going to work. Going to work. Go. Gotta make it happen.
One thing about music, when it hit, you feel no pain. White folks say it controls your brain, say it controls your brain. One thing about music, when it hit, you feel no pain. One thing about music, when it hit, you feel no pain. One thing about music, when it hit, you feel no pain. White folks say it controls your brain, say it controls your brain. And it don't stop. And it don't stop. And it don't stop. And it don't stop. It don't stop. And it don't stop. And it don't stop. And it don't stop. And it don't stop.
Starting in 5th grade, playing drums, percussion, all the way through, the few years of elementary school, junior high, high school. I had as many band classes as I could. Music theory, jazz band, symphonic band, marching band, Dixieland band. After all of that, when I got out of high school, I played drums in like a rock band. We played in like clubs and stuff like that in the DC area. And basically, after a gig one night, realizing that my band sucked, I went into a Holiday Inn bar to grab a drink after the horrifying gig that I just had, and saw a DJ, really for one of my first times, because where I came from and where I grew up, there really was no DJ culture whatsoever. There was bands at parties. When I was in high school, our band would play the party if they'd set us up next to a K. They'd say, what the heck, we're there. So, wanting to have a life and a career in the music industry, and realizing that the position I was in and the band that I was in wasn't going anywhere, I stumbled onto this DJ at a Holiday Inn, like I said, and watched what he was doing, and it just kind of hit me. It's like, wow, that's cool. It's still involved in the music industry. You're playing records, you're playing music, and just went to Circuit City the next day and bought two $57 belt-driven turntables and to Radio Shack and bought a mixer, and it was on, self-taught. Basically, I think the question that you're asking me is what made me decide, and at what time in my career did I decide to take it to the next levels, as opposed to just playing other people's records, to making my own. I've been out here in LA for a few years. Things have gone well. Played in some very influential clubs. Became a Billboard reporter for Billboard magazine. A record pool director. Then I got involved with radio mix shows, first at Kiss FM and then at Power 106, doing Power Tools with Richard Humphrey. We kind of felt at a certain time, after doing Power Tools for a couple years, being very successful in the clubs, getting a lot of love from record labels, national, big major record labels, where they started showing interest in us doing remixes. We kind of realized it was time to start buying some equipment and take it to the next level. Not wanting to just play records all my life, and coming from a very musical background, felt that I had a lot to say musically. So bought some gear, similar to this little piece right here, just a workstation, and started making records. It seemed like a natural progression because we had a club in place, a club called the Dome. It was packed every Saturday night. We had a radio show on Power 106 with millions of people listening. So we figured, who better than to start making records if we have a place to test it, which is the club. You can make a record, burn it to acetate, burn it to CD, or back in those days there weren't CD burners, but I would even put new tracks on a reel-to-reel and take them to the club and play them and test them out and see how they did. And what makes a good DJ is obviously, number one, staying on the cutting edge musically, not just playing the same records that everybody else wants to play, not just playing records that you hear on the radio, but really finding your niche, the kind of music that you think moves the crowd, and sticking with that, not just following trend to trend, and this week you're playing this, and this week you're playing that. Got to stay true to yourself and true to your people. Advice I would have for up-and-coming DJs or up-and-coming producers, and I'll be very blunt and very honest, is number one, have a dream and work hard at your dream, but number two, have a fallback plan. I mean, it's a bad thing to say. A lot of people won't say that in the business, but it's a very tough business. I've seen dozens of extremely talented friends of mine fall out of the business because they couldn't make it. So strive hard, to follow your dream. Work hard at it. Practice, practice, practice. Probably one of the gigs that really stands out in my mind was my first tour in Europe, playing in Oporto, Portugal, which is where port wine comes from. And I played with a good friend of mine, David Alvarado, in an old port wine cellar. Basically, it was like this castle from the 1800s. We were down in the cellar, just massive walls of brick, concrete, and stone. Just an incredible vibe. I played at I think 6 to 8 in the morning, and I played as the sun came up through the barred windows, over a river, on a cliff, and it was just one of the most awesome events I've ever been involved in my life. And do you want to ask me anything about this project? Very excited about this project, Peace, Love, and Music. It's kind of a culmination of a lot of things. My travels over the last year, where I'm at musically right now, and starting a new relationship with Groovy Records. I'm really excited about it. We had a lot of good tracks that I did with the Joker. We did a couple tracks together. Used a lot of his tracks, a lot of tracks from Raul Mazurna, and a lot of my own tracks. So I'm very excited about this because I really think it represents where I'm at right now as a DJ. There's a big variety of music on it, from new energy, progressive, little teeny tiny bit of hard house, filter disco, drum and bass, good Latin house record, nice vocal house record. So there's a nice variety on this. And again, when I DJ, I try to take people on a journey. I don't want to just play one thing for 2 hours, one style of music. I start off something, drop it down, bring it back up. And I really think that's what this CD does. It takes you on a little bit of a journey, and I'm very excited about it.